Good Saturday evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here at WHAS11 in Louisville, Kentucky. Boy, has it been a long week. We have been tracking a lot of weather since Sunday night. That was the first round of severe weather, if you can think back that far, because of course we had the second round Wednesday night, and then we've had flooding rains ever since then. So we're going to talk through some of the rainfall reports I've seen. We're going to take a look at the radar because yes, it's still raining out there. I'll let you know when this rain will finally wrap up and what we can expect for the coming week, because it's looking a lot quieter across Kentuckiana, thankfully. So thank you all for tuning in on this Saturday evening. I know it's been a bit of a dreary day out there. If you have any questions, I will get to those on the Facebook live stream. Hello, Pamela from Salem, Indiana. How you doing? Thanks for hopping on here. So I'll take a look at those once I kind of wrap up my first go round with all the graphics, but hopefully I answer your questions as we go onward. So let's start off with a live look outside. This is actually from our Galt House Camera Hotel, Bachman Auto Group, U of L Health Cam. Zoomed in, as you can see, to the Ohio River right past the 2nd Street Bridge there and the waterfront, which this time yesterday was all green. You could see the entire park. At this point, that water continuing to move and rise, and we will continue to see Waterfront Park taken over by water, unfortunately, over the coming days. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Maggie. Thank you all for hopping on. All right, let's take a look at some of our 72-hour rain reports. I did put this on my Facebook page, and I'm going to say these are the official totals at like airports, the official reporting sites, but with the Mesonet, the Kentucky Mesonet, and some of your all's reports, I know we've definitely had some locally high reports. I also want to point out these are since 4 o'clock. So these do not include a lot of the rain, in fact, that we've been seeing this afternoon and evening. But you're looking area-wide 5 to, I would say, 7 inches for Kentuckiana, even higher south and west. Western Kentucky will likely end up with 10 to 15 inches of rainfall from this event. Most of us in Kentuckiana, I will say, will probably end up between 6 and 10. So this is a lot of rain, more than a month's worth of rain in just a couple of days. Additional rainfall, 1 to 3 inches. Some lower amounts to the north because this boundary is starting to make its way out of here, and eventually that's going to take that storm threat away and give us more of just shower activity. But this is a look at the radar here. We did get some dry time in Louisville earlier on, but that radar has really filled in from the west and southwest. And I think we can say that our severe weather threat is coming to an end, because if we were going to see it, it would have been right about now. We did have a severe storm that skirted some of our southernmost counties. But that is now moving out. So now we are left with the flooding threat, of course, that will persist tonight and likely into tomorrow. It'll take some time for those river levels to crest and to really recede here. But take a look at temperatures here. You can tell that that boundary is starting to move out because we're at 52 in Louisville, 63 in Bowling Green, 72 in Somerset. Those 80s off to our east and southeast. So if you're looking for any kind of thunderstorm fuel, that is off to the south and east. So if anybody's worried about severe weather, that threat is coming to an end now that that sun is starting to set, and we are in for just a rainy night. Unfortunately, as you've seen, if you've been looking at any images across the area, or you've been watching our newscast, looking at our coverage, obviously this flooding is causing a lot of issues. Thunder over Louisville canceled this year. That was supposed to take place next Saturday. So they announced earlier today that thunder has been canceled. But Max HD radar zoomed in here. That kind of yellow outline color, that's just east of Columbia. That is due to a severe thunderstorm warning. So as I mentioned, if we were going to see any kind of stronger storms, it would have been south of the parkways, which we saw a couple with some strong winds, some that were trying to rotate, but that tornado threat has come to an end for us. But as I mentioned, really the greater ingredients for severe weather this afternoon and early evening was more so in northern Tennessee and far southern Kentucky. But that's now pushing east out of our viewing area, and once you get behind that main line, as we saw earlier this week, we're just dealing with, yes, the cold, nasty rain. Hi, I'm looking at the comments. Thank you all for hopping on. Yes, I think we're all ready for some quieter weather here. So the active warnings, unfortunately, those flash flood warnings are starting to fill back in. We're seeing that from around Brandenburg, Hardinsburg, over to Bartstown, E-Town, Litchfield, Campbellsville, areas down to the south and southwest, where that heavy rain has been persisting for the last couple of hours here. And as I mentioned, that severe weather threat coming to an end and continuing to push east out of our area. But here's that big picture view. This same corridor throughout the country that includes us has been dealing with this flood threat and the severe weather threat day after day since about Wednesday. So that's been basically East Texas, northern Louisiana. Arkansas has really been hit hard. West Tennessee, Memphis area, they have been busy. Nashville has had several tornado warnings the last several days. And of course, that flooding that persists along the Ohio and into our area as well. So this is a look at the river flooding. These are flood warnings that are in effect basically until further notice. So a lot of times with the river flooding, they put them into effect until obviously those waters recede. And we're going to see, obviously we've already seen the rivers rise just with the rain so far, but you may know, or you may remember from February, for example, when you have a bigger river like the Ohio, it always takes a little bit longer for those rivers to fully rise. Whereas we'll see more of those crests in the smaller rivers like the Salt River, the Green River, the Rolling Fork River. Those are already moderate to major flood stage at this point. So for the Ohio, as of the latest update, I looked at this at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that was pretty much right before that rain started to fill in again. The Ohio in downtown Louisville was at 23.5 feet. The normal, quote, normal pool is 12 feet. So it's basically double that. And if you've driven anywhere or seen downtown in the Ohio, it is definitely getting full. And then it is expected to rise another 10 feet over the coming days here. So you can see it is in that red range by tomorrow night. That's moderate flood stage. And then it creeps up to about 35, 36 feet by Monday. And as of this update, it doesn't crest yet. It doesn't start to go back down yet. So this is something that we will have to deal with throughout next week, and likely a big reason why officials decided to cancel Thunder over Louisville this year, because it's just going to be very difficult, not only for viewers on the waterfront, but also the barges to set up and things of that nature. So that's something that we're going to be watching, as well as the other rivers, of course, all across Kentuckiana. The Rolling Fork River starting to creep a little close to I-65 and Lebanon Junction. But in terms of your Futurecast for the rest of the night, those stronger storms, they're on their way out and they're continuing to weaken, especially now that the sun is setting. Not a lot of fuel to work with today. And then you just have kind of a chilly rain tonight. Flooding will continue to be a concern, of course. Tomorrow morning, the bulk of the system, it's pushing off to the east and southeast, but we're still expecting waves of showers. So keep that umbrella with you tomorrow, not looking at flooding rains like we've been seeing the past couple of days. Lighter rainfall, no severe weather threat for your Sunday. No severe weather threat for your Sunday. Just 40s and 50s, chilly, breezy as well. We finally dry out Sunday night and into Monday. So excessive rainfall, another way to look at this is your risk of flooding or flash flooding. You're looking at that moderate risk for today, that higher risk to the southwest, really in those areas that are seeing 10 to 15 inches of total rainfall. So western Kentucky, western Tennessee, into Arkansas, southeastern Missouri. And then tomorrow, we're still in a marginal risk. I think it's just because we're so saturated. We've gotten so much rain. So still there will be flooding ongoing, and we may still have flash flooding, water over roads and whatnot tomorrow morning. But then by Monday, that risk of flash flooding, it's out of here. It is off to our east and southeast. So here's a check of that 7-day forecast here. We still have a partial weather impact alert for tomorrow, simply because our flood watch that we've been tracking since Wednesday night continues through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's that area-wide flood watch, just due to heavy rainfall. And then Monday, 60 degrees, Tuesday, 52. It's going to be a cooler week next week. Our average high is in the mid-60s for this time of year in Louisville. So we'll be near that, if not below it. Some overnight lows around freezing. So hopefully you didn't plant anything yet, because Monday night, 31, 34 Tuesday, and that's in the city. So expect chillier temperatures outside of the city on those nights. We do have another chance of rain. Thankfully, it's not looking severe. It's not looking heavy, but we're going to be so tired of rain after this. However, we will have some showers around on Thursday, some lighter showers that we have to work through. And then we dry out throughout Friday and Saturday. Next weekend is looking quiet. Such a shame, because next weekend would have been some good thunder weather. But that is my full spiel. I'm just going to hop on the comments here on Facebook Live. Hello, hello. Hope you all are staying dry and staying safe. I know it's been a very, very long week. I'm going to pop myself back up here. Good Saturday evening, everybody. Thank you all for hopping on this live stream. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here at WHAS11 in Louisville, Kentucky, kind of walking through what we're dealing with in terms of the flooding, the ongoing rain, the heavy rain, 5 to 10 inches that we've been seeing across the area so far, and what's to come. Thankfully, our severe weather threat for this system is coming to an end. So at least we can breathe a sigh of relief for that. But we are still in the flood threat for a little bit longer. So if you're going to be out and about this evening and tonight, just please be cautious. I'm sure you've noticed the last several days more, at the very least, ponding on the roads. So hydroplaning is much easier to do because those roads are so wet. We're seeing some ponding, we're seeing some flooding in those typical problem areas. A reminder to never drive around flooded roadways or drive through flooded roadways or drive around barricades. Those barricades are there for a reason, and it gets really much more dangerous overnight because you really can't tell how deep that floodwater is, how intact the road is underneath it. So please be safe. Unfortunately, we've already had some fatalities this week due to the flooding. So thankfully, everybody stayed safe with the tornadoes and the strong winds, but we have had some fatalities in the area due to flooding. So please, please, please be safe. We are going to kind of walk through one more time just what the radar looks like and what you can expect through the rest of the night. And then we will wrap things up here so you can really enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. I know it's a gloomy one, but we are still dealing with that rain as those river levels continue to rise here. Taking that live look from our Galt House Hotel camera, you can tell that the water, it's coming on the waterfront, on the big lawn there. Great lawn, big lawn. It's been a long week. The Great Lawn, and more is to come, unfortunately. So let's toggle over to our radar one more time. There's your 7-day forecast. Here's the radar. Obviously, widespread rain, some lightning and thunder, but that's on its way east. That was really with the lead line that is now around Lexington, and also with the severe thunderstorm warning just east of Adair County here. So this did roll through southern Kentucky. It started in Nashville, and it had some rotation with it, but thankfully that rotation broadened, it weakened a bit as it pushed through Adair County. So at this time, the severe weather threat, it's pushing east, heading towards Somerset. That severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. But that is moving out of Kentuckiana, and we did have a tornado watch for some of our counties. They should have canceled it by now. Yes, so that's continuing to push east with that severe weather threat. You can see where the tornado watch is. This is how big of a weather system this is. It stretches from Houston to southeastern Kentucky. But we are out of the woods, at least with the severe weather threat, not out of the woods with the rain just yet. We're seeing these flash flood warnings continue to increase. Obviously, we have that flood watch in place until tomorrow morning. I'm going to put that, oh, that's just severe watches. But flood watch until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and then river flooding really until further notice. So the Ohio will continue to rise about another 10 feet over the next couple of days, and it'll be at 35 feet next week. So plan for another rainy day on Sunday, and then finally some quieter weather next week. It'll be cooler, but it'll be so nice to see that sunshine. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s, some chilly overnight lows next week in the 30s and 40s. But once again, thank you all so much for hopping on this live stream. Hope everybody is staying safe this week and staying dry. I know it's been a long week. It's been a stressful week with the weather, but we're almost at the tail end. So once again, thank you all for hopping on here. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday night and a great Sunday as well.